Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Lana and today I'm doing the tag, the reading goals tag that was created by Rosie, my good friend Rosie. You might know Rosie from our Tolkien cook-along lives. She's incredible and I love her, and I don't know why I didn't know about this tag sooner, but she created a tag and so I decided to do it as well and support her. I'm looking at my notes that I made for this tag because it's very interesting questions. A lot of things came up while I was thinking through my answers, so let's get started. Question number one, do you set reading goals? Why or why not? I set vague plans. I think before joining the booktube community and bookstagram as well, I was never really paying attention to my reading habits. I would just look at the number of books I read at the end of the year on Goodreads and think maybe I can read more next year. That was the extent of it. And then the people that I started watching when I first discovered booktube were people like Books and Lala, who set very specific goals, and in my heart, I want to be that person so much because I love structure, I love plans, I love numbers, but I'm just not that person. And setting those kinds of goals actually leads to a lot of anxiety and stress, and so I don't do that. Last year, I thought that, I would like to read more classics. I would like to read more books in Russian. Oh my God, my neighbors are doing something. I hope you can't hear it too well. And I did end up doing those things, but that was not a goal that I wrote down, that I set necessarily. I was watching a lot of booktube channels that were talking about classics. I was following a lot of people on Bookstagram that were posting about Russian classics. So it's just about, it's a combination of me wanting to do something and surrounding myself with inspiration to do it, if that makes sense. So yeah, those two things did happen last year, but it wasn't necessarily a goal. It was just something that I wanted to do and I did it. This year, here's what I wrote. This year, I want to allow myself to mood read as hard as I possibly can. Again, stop drilling stuff. Next question, are your goals things that you absolutely aim to complete or more general themes you want to focus on? General themes for sure. For this year, it's read out of joy, not obligation. I have so many notes on this one, why? Something that I've been thinking about lately, that I would like my reading to be another form of documenting my life. Like I try to journal every day, try to be consistent with that. Doesn't always happen, hasn't really been happening lately. I've recently also decided to take more pictures of where I am and people I'm with, and more selfies and what am I wearing, and you know, stuff like that. There was a period of my life, probably like a span of a year and a half, where it hasn't been great. And when I went back in my phone, I couldn't really find many pictures. In like 3 months, I only took one picture of myself, and it made me so sad because then that period of time is just one dark cloud. I have a very bad memory, and if I don't make an effort to document things, then they will just disappear, and it's very sad for me to think that I lost a lot of moments from that period that were positive and were good, just because I didn't make any effort to take a photo, write something down, stuff like that. So when it comes to reading, if I have a strict schedule, when it comes to reading, if I have a set TBR that I finish every month, what happens in my life doesn't really affect my reading, which is, in like an ideal world, that sounds great to me, but it's not actually something that I want. Books connect me to memories and places. There are some books that I don't necessarily remember what the book is about, but when I think of that book, I have such a vivid memory of who I was as a person, where I was, what were my interests, what kind of music I was reading, I was listening to at the time, stuff like that. And I really enjoy that. When I look at my reading last year, something that I find interesting, that it wasn't a successful reading year numerically. I didn't read many books. I wasn't very consistent. I wasn't inspired, motivated, or whatever. But when I look at the list of books I read closer to the end of the year, when I sort of let go of any type of planning or control or anything when it came to reading, I was just picking stuff up that I needed and that I wanted. You can see just even like the genres and the themes or whatever in the books that I was picking up reflect what I needed at that time, that I was struggling, that I needed comfort, that I needed something light and warm. And when I think of those books, I have a much stronger connection to them because they are connected to the rest of my life. And when I read as many books as I could by listening to audiobooks or whatever, they were not really, I read them, I remember some of them, but they're just separate from me. So what was the question? Oh, Rosie, you're making me talk. Next question is, when in the year do you set new goals? I don't really set goals, but I think closer to the end of the year I start, you know, I look at how many books I read, I look at the list of books and see what genres I read more in, whether I am satisfied with what I see. I make very vague goals for my reading next year. Do you have any long-standing goals that you aim for every year? If yes, what are they? It's so weird. I've been reading my whole life, but before starting booktube, before finding booktube, I've never been like, I never noticed my habits or how much I read or anything. So no, I feel like I haven't had enough years of being conscious of my reading to really answer this question. What type of goal has been the most successful by whatever metric you chose in the past? I couldn't think of anything when I was writing these down, and I still can't. What type of goal has not gone to plan? What went wrong? Strict scheduling, TBRs, planning for buddy reads and stuff. Truth is, I realized that I cannot and I will not set reading as a priority in my life. I will not build my life around reading. My work, my well-being, my family, my actual plans come first. And because those things are changing all the time, if I start setting reading, like strict reading plans, I will have to change them all the time. And I think the thing that would stress me out a lot and lead to a lot of anxiety when it came to doing TBRs and scheduling things and planning was not so much the fact that I couldn't do it, but it was because I constantly had to go back and modify those plans and delay things and reschedule and edit. And it was just so much because things come up all the time. And as I mentioned, I love plans and structure and scheduling and all of that, but the areas of my life where I need it and where it is actually beneficial are not my hobbies, are not reading. So yeah, not doing that again. Do you change your goals based on how the last reading year has gone? Yes, again, I feel like I have not been paying attention to my reading for that long, so I can't really fully answer this question. But based on the last 2 years, yes, I think after my first year on booktube, I got very into it and I thought, ooh, I can do more. Maybe I can handle making more plans and doing all of these things. And then I burned out very quickly. Yeah, I mean, I'm always learning something new about myself and my reading, and my life changes all the time. So my habits that are built around my life change all the time, and that's normal and that's good. Do you track your reading goals? If so, how? Maybe every several months I look at the list of books I read so far, and I notice patterns, and then I make decisions on how I feel about those patterns, and I make changes or I don't, if that makes any sense. Last question is, has any of this changed a lot over the course of your reading life? No? I mean, yes, but also no. Again, I never cared before about introducing any kind of system or tracking thing. So me trying to introduce it and then realizing I can't do it and letting go of that, I guess, is a big change. 2 big changes, but I don't think that counts. Anyway, this was the reading goals tag. Rosie, these questions are awesome. Thank you so much for creating this tag. If you have never heard of this tag, do it. It's so fun, and I like that it opens up a conversation. I like tags like this because even though I consider myself someone who doesn't set reading goals, look how much I had to say about reading goals for someone who does not set them. Anyway, I hope you enjoy this video. I will link Rosie's original tag video in the description below. Again, I urge you to do it as well because it's so much fun, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!